You might be the type of person when you come to like a body of water, that you want to just kind of put your little toe in first, see what it's like, then you gradually, okay? Or you might be the type of person who goes to one of those cliffs in Hawaii, it's like up there, and then there's the body of water down there, and you just jump. This morning begins the second way, so don't think that I'm going to ease us into this in any way, shape, or form. Okay. And I just begin with a real basic question. I don't think it's a basic question at all. I think it's a question that is that I'm learning, that I've learned, isn't asked enough. How is your soul? There's the plunge. How is your soul? That place deep inside of you. Empty, hopeless, restless, hopeful, satisfied, content. One conclusion I've come to is that for the person who has embraced the hope of the cross and hence Christianity, it is nothing ever but hopeful, content, and satisfied. This series of sermons that are all disjointed, but they have a common theme. And that theme is great stories of the Bible that apply to our daily Christian lives. And when I came across that topic, or that idea, I immediately, without even hesitation, thought of the rich young ruler. And it was like that. Now, part of it is because I preached before on the rich young ruler, and I thought I was going to rehash that sermon. That didn't happen. Now, I don't know if this is one of those great stories of the Bible. I don't know, but I'm convinced, as I hope to convey to you today, that it does have great insight into our daily Christian lives. Hence, I present to you life lessons from the rich young ruler, subtitled, Following the Example of the Rich Young Ruler. Now, I had the opportunity over Christmas to preach, and I talked about Linus letting go of his blanket. 2 weeks ago, we heard this is as long as my short-term memory is going right now. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Herzog Jr. talked about discouragement, and if you will, maybe holding on to discouragement. Last week, if my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Carter talked about the ancient paths and trying to determine which way is the best way to go. And so all these thoughts are running into my mind in terms of what are we holding on to, what do we don't want to let go of, why do we want to hold on to what we want to hold of, why don't we want to let go, why do we have such a tough decision when we come to a path and not know which way to go? Why pick one path over another? I wish I knew, and if you were to ask me why I'm getting ready to show you the video that I'm getting ready to show you, I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
Which one is she doing for 600? Which one was it? Back
He wasn't talking about it.
I stole this as a little bit of introduction and conclusion, but we'll soon get to the point.
Welcome to the plan. Yastrzemski, Larry Bird, or Bill Russell.
You go out of town and you just kind of feel sorry for them in a way, kind of, because you just get bugged all the time. You know, we float through there, they just see a big overweight guy. That's pretty normal out here. You know, but there's Tom Brady. I mean, everybody wants to be around Tom.
Can you go out to restaurants?
If I have the energy to deal with, putting a happy face on, sometimes I don't feel like that.
Now, you seem a bit the reluctant start.
Well, the problem is you can't have one without the other. You can't have the football fame and not the other stuff. So, in a lot of ways, I've created this myself.
It's what you always wanted.
You're right, it has. And I didn't think it came with all the other baggage, though.
In addition to his success on the field and his sex appeal off it, there is also the $60 million 10-year contract to play with the Patriots. It's less money than Peyton Manning and even some journeyman quarterbacks are making, but Brady wanted to leave some money on the table for the Patriots to hire free agents to help them win another Super Bowl.
I used to get $600 dorm checks and go eat Subway and use pizza cards to get my way through college, eat baked potatoes and make pancakes every night. So I don't think that's ever been a big thing for me. I mean, I'm making more money now than I ever thought I could ever make playing football.
He's turned down multi-million-dollar endorsement deals because he didn't think they were right for him. And many of the ones he's taken, he's shared with his teammates.
You guys have to go everywhere with me?
But with all that money, fame, and career accomplishments, we were surprised to hear this from him.
Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there for me? I mean, maybe a lot of people would say, hey man, this is what it is. I reached my goal, my dream, my life is... Me, I think, God, it's gotta be more than this.
What's the answer?
I wish I knew. I love playing football and I love being a quarterback for this team. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of other parts about me that I'm trying to find.
Everybody's watching everybody wait.
That was 2005. 2005. Unfortunately, he's won 2 more rings since then. I think it's very revealing. I think that's very revealing. We are all on the journey of life. But to what end? What are we hoping for? What are we longing for? What are we desiring? What do we need for that journey? What has to be there? You know, we want to come to the end of every day and think, man, that was a good day. We want to begin the day with the hope of a good day. And then we go through that day, or we go through our mind thinking, okay, what's going to take place, what needs to take place, what's on the schedule, what's on the docket, what's not going to happen, what's supposed to happen, that's going to then fit into whether or not, when all's said and done, it's a good day, or the projected good day is a projected good day. In some ways, we ask the question, what gets us out of bed in the morning? You know, when we're thinking about the things that are necessary for the journey of life, we think about money or entertainment or relationships or video games or handheld devices, clothes or jewelry or something as crazy as Wi-Fi, whatever it is, it's out there something. But all those things, or some of those things, we've got to have. I think our greatest struggle is trying to find that balance between enjoying something and worshiping something. I don't think our problem is worship. I think we were created, we were designed to worship. I think our problem is what we choose to worship and how that manifests itself. And what that means in terms of the abundant life that Jesus promised. You know, when I think about all these things, there's a number of words, specific words that come to my mind that I think that when all said and done helps quantify what I'm trying to get at here. We want and we long for comfort. We want, we long for convenience. We long for control. But I ask us, where in the midst of those words do we put the importance and the desire of contentment? Can we find contentment in the midst of inconvenience? Can we find contentment in the midst of lack of control? Can we find contentment in the midst of a situation where there is no comfort? You know, a lot of this times we go through those periods where those things are lacking. We're lacking the comfort, convenience, and control. And when we get to the point, I understand this, we're a mindset, we're just surviving. But I think in the midst of that, we can thrive. And I think, like I said, we can learn a lot from the rich young ruler. I'm using, can you put that, just that one slide that I sent back up? I'm going to use this is found in 3 Gospels. But I'm just going to use it from Matthew 19. I'm going to look at this kind of 3 different ways. The first way is the story as it was written then. Matthew 19, 16 through 22. Just then a man came up to Jesus and asked, "Teacher, what good thing must I do to get eternal life?" "Why do you ask me about what is good?" Jesus replied. "There is only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments." "Which ones?" he inquired. Jesus replied, "You should not murder. You should not commit adultery. You should not steal. You should not give false testimony. Honor your father and mother. Love your neighbor as yourself. All these I have kept," the young man said. "What do I still lack?" Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions, give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. When the young man heard this, he went away sad. Also translated sorrowful, great sorrow, because he had great wealth. I've heard this story since a long time ago. And the life lesson I always was taught basically about the rich young ruler is don't be rich. Don't have money. And that's it. Give away what you have. That's the point of the story. There's a little bit maybe of truth in that. I think there's a whole lot more. As I mentioned when I talked before in December, going through a book where reality was kind of presented as one of 2 ways. That we believe a false narrative, and here's the false narrative that we've been led to believe as not being false, but as being true. And because we believe it to be true, we go down that path, thinking it will give us what we want, what we need, what we desire, what we long for, what we hope for. That at the end of that day, it'll be a good day. And I think in the case of what I'm calling the first century rich young ruler, he applied the idea of what I think is commonly called checklist Christianity. That if I just do this, 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 and this, I'll get this, because God's going to give it to me. Moralistic thinking. One way to look at it is the whole idea of being religious. Pursue this, pursue that, avoid this, avoid that. And by doing those things, God will bless me. God will provide. God will give. Based on the fact that I've done those things. And you think about the whole conversation between him and Jesus. I mean, at one point in time, as Jesus lists off these things, he says, all these I have kept. I've done all these, Lord.